Happy New Year! And ako na naman po si Miss B. Welcome back to my learning channel. This is one of tutorials where you can level up your math skills with me, Miss B. Yung babalik na naman po ang inyong paboritong math teacher na tutulungan kayo para mas maintindihan nyo ang inyong lessons sa math. At kung di nyo pa po nagagawa, please like and subscribe para po lagi kayong updated sa lahat ng lessons at videos na ina-upload ko. So, i-click nyo na rin po yung bell icon para lagi kayong unang-una, first in line sa mga fresh lessons at videos na nandito po sa aking channel. Okay, so let's start. Ang lesson po natin today ay polynomial functions. Now, this lesson is for grade 10. Nandito na po tayo sa week 1 ng second quarter. Ang ating objectives po for this lesson would be to understand polynomial functions and their parts and aspects, and to interpret and learn how to graph polynomial functions. Ang ating MILCs, or most essential learning competencies of the day, are illustrates polynomial functions and understand, describe, and interpret the graphs of polynomial functions. So, magsisimula po tayo. Aalalahanin natin ano nga ba ang isang polynomial function. Remember, magkaiba po siya sa polynomial equation. Dahil po ang function may specific po siya na purpose, which is, it is to be plotted in our Cartesian coordinate plane. Kaya meron po siyang x-coordinate and y-coordinate. That is why, ang itsura po ng ating polynomial functions ay p sub x is equal to kung ano man po ang inyong nakikita sa screen. So, let us recall. Ang mga important terms po natin na kailangang matandaan ay si a sub n. Siya po yung tinatawag na leading coefficient. And then, of course, you have your n, which is the highest exponent. At yan din po ang degree ng ating polynomial. And then, sa pinakadulo ng ating polynomial, we have your constant na a sub 0. Alright? So, they can either look like this. So, pwede po siyang maging y is equal to x to the 4th plus 2x cubed minus x squared plus 14x minus 56. Or, pwede rin po siya na in its factored form. Like, y is equal to x 8. Or, pwede rin po siyang nasa factored form, which is y is equal to x squared plus 7 times x minus 2 times x plus 4. So now, pupunta na po tayo sa realm ng pag-graph ng mga polynomial functions. Pero bago po tayo mag-graph, kailangan muna nating malaman ang mga aspeto na aaralin natin or na kailangan para maintindihan, ma-interpret natin ang isang polynomial function. So this lesson, may tatlo po tayong aspects na aaralin. The first one is yung tinatawag na intercepts. So we have to know how to find the x and the y intercepts of the function. So, if we can recall, kapag po sinabi nating intercept, yan po yung tinatamaan ng ating graph sa x and y axis in our Cartesian coordinate plane. Okay? So, how do we find the x and y intercepts? Simple lang po. We have to let x be equal to 0 to find the y intercept, and we have to let y be equal to 0 to find the x intercept. So, simulan po natin. Hanapin natin ang x and y intercepts of this function. So, we have our first example, y is equal to x minus 4 times 2x plus 1 times x plus 3. So, unahin na po natin si y-intercept. Para malaman natin si y-intercept, we have to let x be equal to 0. At kapag ginawa po natin yan, nagiging 0 ito, magiging 0 ito, at magiging 0 ito. So, ano na lang matitira? We will have a negative 4 times 1 times 3, which will give us y is equal to negative 12. Okay? So, yan na po ang ating y-intercept. Madali lang, tama? So, now, puntahan naman natin ang x-intercept. So, para makuha po natin ang ating x-intercept, we have to let y be equal to 0. At kapag ginawa po natin yan, anong mangyayari sa ating equation? X minus 4 times 2x plus 1 times x plus 3 is equal to 0. Looks familiar, di ba? That's because yan po yung lesson natin previously, which is finding the roots of our polynomial equation. So, So, ang gagawin lang po natin, gagamitan natin ito ng zero product property. So, we will equate each factor to 0 para po makuha natin ang roots or zeros of our function. So, makukuha po natin dyan ay x is equal to 4, x is equal to negative 1/2, at x is equal to negative 3. So, yan po ang ating mga x-intercepts. So, inuulit ko lang po para saan ang intercepts para malaman natin kung saan tumatama ang ating graph sa x and y axis. So, sa y-intercept, tatama daw ang ating graph. So, y is equal to negative 12. And for the x-intercepts, tatama ang ating graph sa tatlong points in our x-axis. And those are negative 3, negative 1/2, and positive 4. Okay. So, paano naman kapag hindi na siya factored form? So, syempre, ang gagawin natin, ifa-factor natin siya. So, simulan muna natin. Y-intercept, again, is easy because ang gagawin lang natin is we will let x be equal to 0. Okay? So, if x is equal to 0, then y is equal to, ano na lang po ang matitira? Positive 6. Okay? So, dito na po tayo medyo magtatagal kay x-intercept. So, para mahalapan natin ng x-intercept, remember, we let y be equal to 0. So, our equation will look like x cubed minus 4x squared plus x plus 6. So, para po natin siya ma-factor, sisimulan natin, gagamitan natin ng rational root theorem or RRT para malaman natin ang possible roots. So, kukuhanin po natin ulit ang factors ni constant divided by all of the factors of your leading coefficient. In this case, dahil leading coefficient lang po ay 1, ang kailangan lang po natin ay yung possible factors ni 6. So, ano-ano po yan? We have plus minus 1, plus minus 2, plus minus 3, and plus minus 6. So, now that we have our possible roots, we will now proceed to testing these roots. Ang gagamitin po natin ay synthetic division. So, sisimulan po natin ang ating testing phase. So, sisimulan natin with positive 3. So, let's divide 1, negative 4, 1, and 6 with positive 3. Ano po yung makukuha natin? Mag-synthetic division tayo. Magiging negative 3, negative 2, negative 6, 0. So, nakakuha na po tayo ng isang root or ng isang 0. We have 3. Tapos, makukuha po natin from our depressed equation, we will get x squared minus x minus 2 equals 0. Madali na po yung i-factor. The factors are negative 2 and, x minus 2 and x plus 1, which will give us the other two roots, 2 and negative 1. So, yan na po ang ating x-intercepts. So, ang next aspect po natin ay yung tinatawag na behavior of the graph between the zeros or roots of the function. So, ito po si aspect number 2. Ano po ang ibig sabihin yan? Ibig sabihin, yung behavior ng graph, kung siya ba ay nasa ibabaw or nasa ilalim ng ating x-axis. Okay? So, para magawa po natin yan, kailangan natin gumawa ng table of signs. So, I will walk you through kung paano pong gumawa ng table of signs para makuha natin yung behavior ng ating graph. Okay? So, consider the example or consider the function p sub x is equal to x minus 2 times x minus 1 times x plus 3. So, para po makuha natin ang zeros, again, ang gagawin lang po natin ay we will equate this expression to 0. And if we do that, ang gagawin lang po natin, we will equate each of these factors to 0 so that we can get our zeros, which are 2, 1, and negative 3. So, yan po ay magsaserve as our borders or limits. So, halimbawa, idodrawing ko po siya sa ating number line. Okay? So, meron akong 0, negative 3, positive 1, and positive 2. Now, these roots, sila po ay nagsaserve na borders or limits. Now, it actually divides your number line or your area into 4 areas. So, ano-ano yan? Yung first area po natin is everything that is less than negative 3. Okay? And then, our next area is everything in between negative 3 and positive 1. Our next area is between positive 1 and positive 2. And then, of course, our last area is everything that is greater than positive 2. So, as you can see po, yung roots po natin, sila po ay nag-serve as borders. So, paano natin siyang gagawan ng table of signs? Ganito lang po. Create tayo ng table na ganito. And then, we will write yung 4 na areas na ginawa natin kanina. So, remember, meron tayong 4 na areas. Meron tayong 1, 2, 3, 4 areas. So, ang first area natin ay everything less than negative 3. So, we can write that as x is less than negative 3. Our next area was everything between negative 3 and negative 1. So, in symbols, yan po ay negative 3. And then, less than x, which is less than 1. Okay? So, sorry, negative 3, all of x that is greater than negative 3 but less than 1. There. Sorry naman, nabulol si Miss B. Okay. And then, our next area would be everything that is between 1 and 2. And our last area will be everything that is greater than positive 2. Okay? So, yan po ilalagay natin sa first row natin. Sa first column, ang ilalagay naman po natin ay yung mga factors natin. So, ano-ano ulit yung factors natin? We have x plus 3, x minus 1, at saka x minus 2. And then, of course, syempre, yung ating function itself, si p sub x. So, ano na gagawin natin dito? We will now determine kung positive or negative yung bawat isang factor dito sa bawat area stated. Okay? So, halimbawa, ano ba ang mga x that is less than negative 3? Let's say negative 4. Okay? Negative 4 plus 3, that will give you a negative number. Tama? And then, negative 4 minus 1 is a negative number. Negative 4 minus 2 is also a negative number. So, ganyan lang po. Ang gagawin natin, we will take a test item. So, like for example, a number between negative 3 and 1, let's say 0. And we will use that in our factors. So, 0 plus 3 will be positive. 0 minus 1 is negative. 0 minus 2 is negative. Okay? And then, mag-proceed po tayo sa ating next area. So, let's say 1.5. Anong mangyayari dito? Positive, positive, negative. And then, our last area, everything that's greater than 2, positive, positive, positive. Okay? For the last part, ang kailangan po natin gawin ay i-multiply natin per column yung signs para makuha natin yung final sign ng ating p sub x. So, negative times negative times negative, positive times negative, and then this will become negative and this will become positive. So, ano naman ang ibig sabihin nitong table of signs? Bakit natin siya kailangan gawin? Ito po ang nagdi-determine kung ang ating graph ay over or under sa ating x-axis. So, if you have a negative piece of x, that means it is under the x-axis. If it's positive, it is over. And then, this one is under and over ulit. So, para ma-visualize natin, remember the pattern? It's under, over, under, over. So, para po ma-visualize natin, let's try to make a rough sketch. Rough sketch po hindi po ito accurate, rough sketch lang. So, meron tayong negative 3. We have 1 and 2. Okay? So, remember, we have 3 roots, 3 borders, and 3 areas. Ano yung sabi? Everything that is less than negative 3 is under. So, ibig sabihin, yung graph daw natin dito ay nasa ilalim ng x-axis. Okay? Yung next pattern natin ay over. So, over. Yung next pattern daw natin ay under. And then, yung next area natin ay over. So, roughly, ganito yung itsura ng ating graph. Now, of course, this is just a rough sketch. So, para makuha po natin, gagamit tayo ng app. At ang ginamit ko po na app ay Desmos. So, gamit po ang tulong ni Desmos. Ito po ang ating graph ng function. Okay? So, as you can see, tama naman yung medyo magkahawig naman yung graphs na ginawa natin. Medyo mas payat lang siya dito sa accurate na graph. Pero, we had the aspects correct. Okay? So, dito sa before negative 3, it's under. In between negative 3 and 1, it was over. In between 1 and 2, it was under. And beyond 2, it was over. So, as you can see, tama naman po ang aspects natin. Medyo malayo lang yung ating rough sketch. Okay? So, yan po ang ating second aspect. Reviewin lang po natin. Our first aspect kanina was our intercepts. Our second aspect is yung behavior ng graph with regards to the zeros of our function. Okay? So, keep. Na-exit tayo. So now, ano naman yung ating third aspect? Ang ating third aspect po ay yung tinatawag natin na left and right hand behavior. Okay? So ano po ba yung tinatawag na left and right hand behavior of the graph? Yan po yung endpoints ng ating graph. Kumbaga sa parabola. Ganito yan, di ba? Ito ang itsura ng parabola. Ito po yung left hand side and this is your right hand side. Okay? So, para daw ma-determine natin ang left and right hand behavior ng ating graph, ang titingnan po natin ng mga aspeto ay ang degree ng polynomial at yung sign ng leading coefficient. Okay? So, these combined will give us the behavior of the left and right hand of the graph. Okay? Alright, so paano natin malalaman ang tinatawag na right hand and left hand behavior of our graph? Meron po tayong 4 cases. Magsisimula tayo sa case number 1. Anong sinasabi ni case number 1? If you have even degree polynomials and the leading coefficient is positive, then polynomials rise on both the left and right hand sides. So, kung meron daw po tayong even degree polynomial at ang ating leading coefficient ay positive, ibig po niyong sabihin ay y is equal to x squared. So, ang degree natin ay even number at ang leading coefficient natin ay positive. So, ibig po niya sabihin it's rising on the left side and it is rising on the right side. Okay? Pag sinabi po nating rising, pataas. Okay? So, yan po yung for the first case. Now, the second case is even degree polynomials fall on the left and right hand sides if the leading coefficient is negative. So, pareho naman daw silang falling kapag ang leading coefficient natin ay negative. Ibig sabihin, pababa. Kaya po siya falling. Okay? Pababa. So, as you can see dito sa ating given na graph, falling yung kanyang left side and then falling yung kanyang right. Okay? So, yan po yung case number 2. Kapag negative ang leading coefficient and if you have an even degree polynomial. And then, for case number 3, odd degree polynomials naman po tayo. So, ano-ano yung mga odd degree polynomials? X raised to 3, x raised to 5, x raised to 7. So, ano naman daw ang behavior ng left and right hand side? So, odd degree polynomials fall on the left and rise on the right hand if the leading coefficient is positive. So, again, odd degree polynomials fall on the left. So, pabagsak siya on the left. and rise on the right. Pataas siya sa right hand. Okay? If the leading coefficient is positive. Now, if negative naman siya, opposite naman po ang mangyayari. Odd degree polynomials rise on the left. So, pataas on the left and fall on the right. Pababa on the right. If the leading coefficient is negative. Okay? So, kung mapansin niyo po kanina yung even degree polynomials, pareho ng direksyon yung ating left and right hand sides. Dito naman po sa even or sa odd degree polynomials, magkaiba po sila. They are on opposite ends. At para po malaman natin kung kailan siya nag-rise at kailan siya nag-fall, kailangan malaman natin ang ating leading coefficient. Okay? So, yan lamang po. Diba? Napakadaling tandaan. Tapos na tayo dun sa tatlong aspeto ng ating polynomial functions. This is just the first 3. The next 3 will be discussed next week. Alright. So, yan lamang po ang ating lesson for the day. Sana po marami kayong natutunan sa akin. And don't forget, if you have questions, you can leave your comments sa comment section down below. And of course, if you like this video, paki-like naman yan. At saka mag-subscribe ka na rin sa channel para lagi kayong updated sa bagong videos ni Miss V. Yun lamang po. Maraming salamat. Happy New Year. Until next time. Paalam!